There are things in your reality right now you believe so completely that you stake your life on them every single day without even giving it a second thought. You drop your entire body weight into a chair without inspecting it first. You step out of bed in the morning fully trusting the floor will be there to support your weight. You walk into a dark room and reach for the light switch, already certain the light will come on. You get into your car and pull into traffic, trusting that thousands of strangers will stay on their side of the road. You don't hope or wish for any of that. You don't wait to feel sure. You act from total, unshakable certainty, and you don't even notice you're doing it because the belief is so settled it's become invisible. That's what real belief looks like, and you're already doing it flawlessly all day long. So belief was never this mysterious thing you've been told it is. It's actually a trained response and a choice you make. Every one of those certainties got installed so deep, it now runs on autopilot. And if your brain can hold something as settled fact that firmly, it can hold the thing I want is already mine just as firmly, exactly the same way, in fact. That's what this video is going to show you, not how to force your belief, but how to build it, the way your brain actually works and actually builds everything it already believes without so much effort. If you're new here, hello, I am your Muse Traci. On this channel, I help you unlock the power you already have but can't access. I help you break through where years of trying has already failed. And the biggest hurdle of all, I help you go from intellectually knowing the law, knowing all of this information, to permanently embodying it. If that sounds good to you, you are more than welcome to join me here. Subscribe to the channel, stick around, and harness your innate power to create your reality. So let me start with why your brain currently believes the thing you want is not yours, because you have to understand the mechanism before you can shift it or use it. So right now, your brain holds I don't have it as true. And it didn't decide that at random. You trained it, actually. Every time you thought about the lack, felt the ache of not having it, checked and confirmed it wasn't here, and repeated the story of how far away it is, you were running a rep. You were doing like a repetition of convincing yourself, and your brain does what it always does. The pathways you use the most become the strongest. The thoughts you repeat with the most feeling become the automatic default. Your brain wired itself to believe you don't have it because you practiced that belief thousands of times already, usually without knowing you were practicing anything at all. So let that land for a moment, what I'm saying. Your current belief is not actually a verdict about reality. It is simply a habit. It's the pathway you happen to wear the deepest and that you keep habitually repeating. You see, there's a part of your brain that then goes out and proves that belief to you all day long. It filters the flood of information coming at you, and it surfaces the things that match what you already hold as true. Your mind is like a pattern recognizing, matching machine. It wants to prove your beliefs are true again and again. So if you believe money is hard and the thing you want is far away, it quietly hands you evidence for exactly that everywhere you look. And it hides the evidence that your, money is easy and what you want is actually already yours. It hides the evidence for that. And all the while, you think you're seeing reality. What you're actually seeing is your own belief being reflected back and confirmed to you, which means the work is not to fight your circumstances. The work is to change the belief the brain is filtering everything through. Change that, and the same machine that's been proving lack will start proving abundance using the exact same mechanism. So how do you train a new belief? Well, you train a new belief the same way the old one got built. Believe it or not, a belief is just a thought you have continued to think over and over and over. Repetition, emotion, and a vivid inner experience your nervous system accepts as real. You see, your nervous system responds to a scene you vividly imagine and feel as though it were actually happening. And this is why pro athletes mentally rehearse and get measurably better without ever actually physically practicing. They've proved this with musicians, with athletes. Yes, if you want to get better at playing piano, you practice playing the piano, but you also can get better at playing piano just by imagining, visualizing yourself playing piano flawlessly, effortlessly. You can apply this to anything, sports, whatever skill that you want to build. There's a physical aspect to it, but you can also enhance your ability through your imagination. It's not just through the physical act of doing. The imagined experience runs through many of the same pathways that the actual lived one does. Your brain doesn't wait for the outer event to start wiring the new belief. It wires it from the felt experience, whether that's real or imagined. And that is the whole opening. That is how you get into rewiring your brain. Now, here's the protocol, and this is exactly what Neville taught as well. I'm just going to use more of like the brain's language here rather than Neville's language. So first, you don't visualize from the outside like you're watching a movie of yourself. You assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled from the first person. You go to the emotion of already having it. The feeling is what carries the weight, because feeling is what tells the brain, this matters, wire this one in, right? We're imprinting this. That's what the emotion does. Second, you time it right. There is a state you pass through every single night, that drowsy, half asleep state right before, you're falling asleep. In that state, your mind is soft and most impressionable. And whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, then sinks in far deeper than it does if you're trying to visualize, during a busy day. So don't leave your training to random daytime moments, although you can include that as well. But the most powerful time is using this as you're falling asleep. You plant the new belief right there at the edge of sleep when the door is most open. Third, you give it one short scene, not a long, elaborate, explaining all the steps of how you got there. No, a scene that confirms your desire is already done. One simple moment that could only be true if you already had your desire now. A specific small moment that implies it's done. And you enter that scene from the inside, feeling it as real, and you let yourself drift off to sleep inside of that scene, inside of that feeling. Fourth, you repeat it every single night, because one rep doesn't really rewire anything. The old belief got strong through what? Through repetition. And the new one gets strong the exact same way. You're laying down a new pathway, and every night you return to that scene, the pathway gets a little stronger and the old one gets a little weaker. Now, fifth, during the day, you stop feeding the old beliefs. This is the part people skip. You can do the inner work at night and then spend all day reacting to your circumstances as the person who doesn't have it yet, running the old reps all over again. So when something happens that would normally confirm the lack, you catch it and you respond from the new self instead, the new chosen assumption instead, the one who already has it. You stop casting votes for the old belief through your reactions. Now, I want to be really honest with you about the part that trips everyone up, that I see anyway. When you start, the old belief is still the strong one. It's going to keep showing up automatically because you've been practicing it. There's still a deep groove, a deep pathway there. And people think that this is a sign that it's failing or it's not working, right? They think that this old belief should just instantly disappear. And that just isn't how this works. That is just the old pathway still being the old pathway, right? We have to give it some time. It doesn't dissolve instantaneously. You keep choosing the new one anyway, and you keep choosing it and you keep choosing it. And there comes a point where the new belief stops being something you're reaching for and starts to become the automatic one. It will happen. You just have to give it some time, right? So it flips. The old one starts to fall away and the new one starts to become more automatic. And when it does, you'll notice you're no longer trying to believe it's yours. You just quietly know it. The same effortless way you know your own name. That's what trained belief feels like. It's not about straining. It's not about convincing. It's simply a choice. It's simply like, a program that you start to install the same way you installed every single other belief that you have. I promise it's through repetition. I think Abraham calls this, Abraham Hicks would refer to belief as just a thought that you keep thinking. So if you want a new belief, you just keep thinking that thought until it becomes a belief, and it will. So here's what I want you to practice, and you can start practicing this right now. Practice tonight. Why wait, right? Pick the one thing. Choose a single short scene that would only be real if it were already yours. As you're falling asleep, go into that scene, feel it from the inside as already true, and fall asleep there. And then tomorrow, when life tries to hand you the old evidence, respond as the person who already has it now. Do that and keep doing that and let the pathway build, because it will if you stay consistent. You are not waiting to believe. You are training the belief. And a trained brain believes exactly what you teach it to believe. So deceptively simple, I think this practice is actually. It's deceptively simple. And, sometimes we take simple things as not valuable because we want to make things harder than they need to be sometimes. So give it a try. And recognize that any beliefs that you now currently hold are just thoughts that you continue to, resubscribe to over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And maybe you were doing that unconsciously, but you can do the same thing consciously. You can. It doesn't have to be hard. If you want my help retraining this in your brain, in your belief system, on the specific thing you've been struggling to believe is yours, that's exactly what we do together in my coaching program. You can click the link down in the description, and there's also a link in the pinned comment where you can book a free one-on-one call with me. We'll jump on the call, talk about your specific desires, what you think is holding you back, and we'll see if we're a good fit to work together. Thank you all so much for being here, watching this video, watching to the end. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.